Now at 9, a high-speed chase leads multiple agencies across state lines through Kansas and Missouri. Plus, expert advice on when it's safe to burn and why fire ordinances may vary. And a public meeting in Joplin hopes to raise awareness about sludge problems across southwest Missouri.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A high-speed police chase through southeast Kansas leads to the arrest of a Pittsburgh man. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Samantha Walker. The incident started around 11 last night in Crawford County after an attempted stop of a white Chevy HHR. Authorities suspected the driver of having committed aggravated burglary and domestic assault. Multiple agencies, including Pittsburgh Police, Crawford County deputies, and Quapaw Nation Marshal Service, joined the pursuit from the Crawford County into Cherokee County, into Missouri, and finally back into Cherokee County. The Crawford County Sheriff even rammed the suspect's vehicle as it slowed to turn. Authorities managed to capture the driver and bring him to the Crawford County Jail. After the capture, authorities found suspected methamphetamine and drug paraphernalia inside the vehicle and on the suspect, Corey Reynolds of Pittsburgh. According to court documents, Reynolds has been charged with aggravated burglary, flee or attempted to elude, stalking, and domestic battery. Authorities in Bourbon County responded to a large grass fire this afternoon. It took place near Uniontown, Kansas. Officials on scene told us it burned roughly 600 acres of farmland. First responders were able to stop the fire from spreading to a nearby cabin. Fire personnel on scene say they had the fire contained. Just like the wind, fire damage is back in the 4 states. Many areas remain or are now under a burn ban. KOAM's Lonnie Walton spoke with Carl Junction firefighters about the danger of burning when you shouldn't.
I've seen fires going, and you're like going.
Joplin resident Randy Storm says he sees fires burning even when burn advisories and bans are in place. He says he wouldn't dare.
I have burn barrels, but I always take my hose out with me and try to make sure, and if it's like this, no way. But not everybody's like that.
And according to Carl Junction Fire Chief Joe Perkins, there are people in the area that burn on red flag days every year. He says, cut it out.
On a day like today, we would advise, no outside burning. Leaves, or a lot of people will, burn mail, important documents, whatever. And then the wind will shift around those buildings, cause it to get out of hand like that.
And that's not all. Chief Perkins says you always have to make sure the fire's completely out, because if you don't,
the next day, winds blow that top layer off, get plenty of oxygen to what's still kind of smoldering, and it'll bring it right back to life. We've seen fires that were not actively burning up to a week and a half be brought back to life.
Although Perkins is against burning on red flag days, he says if you happen to do so, there's some safety measures that you should follow.
Absolutely soak it, stir it up with a shovel, metal shovel, completely turn it, completely cover it in water.
Regardless, Storm urges folks to pay attention.
Burn yours off, that's one thing. Burn the neighbor's stuff is completely different.
Reporting in Carl Junction, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Chief Perkins says if a fire starts on your property and gets out of control, you are liable for further damage from that fire. Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joins us with a first look at weather.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a nice Friday for us today. Warmer than what we saw on Thursday, but also very windy out there. We had winds gusting at times 35, 40, upwards to about 45, even pushed 50 briefly during the afternoon. But temperatures warmed up. 68 for a high, 42 is where we started. Average high is 62 degrees, so a pretty good chunk above where we should be for this time of the year. Temps drop back through the 50s, upper 30s to near 40, back to 53 by 10 a.m. And if we look at our winds, they calm down finally by morning. It's still going to be a little breezy on Saturday. The winds will start to pick up a bit once we get into Saturday evening as our next storm system rolls in. It's out across the Pacific Northwest at this point in time. Now ahead of it, temperature's great. We should go into lower 70s, but then chances for thunderstorms roll in tomorrow evening. We're going to talk about that here in just a bit.
Thanks, Doug. With fire weather still impacting the 4 states, many residents are patiently waiting for burn bans and red flag warnings to be rescinded. That is exactly what is happening tomorrow in Crawford County. However, KOAM's Anthony Saviello tells us residents in the town of Pittsburgh should familiarize themselves with ordinances before lighting a match.
It's a time of year when fire is used as a means of disposal, but before ignition, there are precautions you should think about.
We ask that the pile is not larger than 4 foot in diameter or 3 foot high, which is a fairly manageable size. You can feed the fire as the day goes. We also ask that it's not within 25 feet of property lines or roadways, just in case the smoke blows across, creates visibility or odor issues if you're too close to a neighbor.
Chief Cherney says there are multiple ways for people to use fire.
Open burning in Pittsburgh can be put in one of 3 categories. You've got just an open pile, just a pile that you've created with limbs and grass that you light. There's the burn barrel, and then there's recreational burning.
An open burn typically requires a permit.
Give us a call here at the fire station. We send a truck out, they come by and they say, yes, everything looks good.
A failure to follow ordinances could lead to penalization.
We'll give you a warning, we'll put the fire out, and then give you a chance to give it a shot again down the road. If it's something that somebody is habitually burning, whether it is trash or construction materials, which are prohibited in the city, then we'll bring an officer out and we will write a citation, which could be up to $500.
One last thing to think about, trash belongs in a can, not in a fire.
We don't want you burning trash. Trash really stinks, and so that's just a nuisance in the community.
In Pittsburgh, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
Officials in Jasper County are continuing to discourage burning as well. Cattlemen in the community come together to discuss changes to animal waste treatment in the Show Me State. Senator Jill Carter and members of the Newton County Cattlemen took part in the event tonight, which made the issue of animal waste treatment the main topic. At issue was the use of Missouri as a location for dumping untreated animal waste. The goal for tonight's meeting was to bring awareness to the issue and discuss future options.
We're seeing a little bit of influx of that concern being spread up here to Webb City in particular. So just trying to be here to let everybody know where we are with that legislation, help them know we are engaged. It is the epitome of representative government.
That meeting took place at Joplin Greenhouse and Coffee Shop. Coming up, COVID 5 years later.
5 years after the beginning of the pandemic, students are walking into much different classrooms. I'm Matt Finn in Los Angeles with how COVID changed America's education system.
And coming up, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services has announced a new date for a postponed vaccine meeting. We continue our series, COVID 5 years later. Tonight, we learn about the changes and challenges to America's schools in the wake of COVID-19. Fox News' Matt Finn explains how the pandemic reshaped our education system.
Reading, writing, and remote learning. The COVID-19 pandemic has had an immediate and permanent impact on our education system.
Everybody learned to use Zoom very quickly.
Sudden lockdowns across America in 2020 accelerated the adoption of virtual classrooms. Schools who may have been dabbling in the technology had to fully embrace online learning, ready or not.
We learned then what lack of digital infrastructure there was. We did not have technology infrastructure in a lot of the rural areas.
By fall 2021, almost all schools were back to offering in-person learning. Virginia Tech Associate Professor Donna Fortune says teachers had to adapt to hybrid classrooms, learning loss, and new tech.
After the pandemic, there's a lot of the textbooks. They created a lot of digital learning platforms for the students to use for math and reading and science. The days are long gone of standing up in front of a class for an hour and pouring knowledge into their head.
The new educational landscape highlighting industry issues, including teacher burnout and staffing shortages, disparities in access to technology and reliable internet, particularly in low-income areas, and learning loss, specifically in reading and math.
We might have lost some ground educationally, but it's going to look different for everybody, right? Some students are going to have felt more lost than others, but that's what teachers are good at, helping us understand how to meet the needs of all of those students.
In the classroom, educators were often battling a second epidemic. A recent Brookings survey revealing nearly 40% of teachers report more students are struggling with stress, depression, and anxiety than before the pandemic, fueled by isolation, uncertainty, and changes in routine.
Just last year, the American Surgeon General stated that there was an epidemic, there was a crisis within child and adolescent mental health. And it was a call to action for many people to make access to care, high quality care, for kids and adolescents in ways that we had never done before.
As a result, schools are prioritizing students' mental health, many focusing on social emotional learning. With help, psychiatrist Chris Ivany says these struggles can be overcome.
When we do deliver care and support for those kids, the large majority of them get through those conditions successfully, and in many cases grow from those experiences.
Still recovering from the pandemic, the education industry is facing another shakeup with the dissolution of the Department of Education. In Los Angeles, Matt Finn, Fox News.
The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services has announced a new date for a postponed vaccine meeting. Independent advisors to the CDC will now meet on April 15th and 16th after the February session was delayed. The meeting will cover vaccine approvals, the measles outbreak, and influenza, with a vote on meningococcal vaccine safety. Public comment will be open from March 31st to April 11th. Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast. And later, rising high beef prices may be a new concern for shoppers.
Well, of course, it turned out to be a nice Friday for us today, warmer than what we have seen, at least over the past day and a half. Temperatures kind of chilly tonight. We drop back 38 to about 40 degrees, but a quick rebound for us tomorrow. Temperatures are actually going to be looking pretty good. Now, it's still kind of windy out there, but the winds are going to start to die down as we go through the night into tomorrow morning. So most of the day tomorrow, we'll call it breezy, but winds kind of gusting 15 to 20, which is no big deal. As we get into Saturday evening, the wind gusts pick up a bit, 20 upwards to 30, and this is going to be ahead of our next little wave that rotates through Saturday night. Then winds switch back out the northwest on Sunday, and the winds calm down. So it's not going to be near as windy over the weekend, but it will be breezy out there. We've had some clouds, weak little wave pushing across the Great Lakes, which did give us the wind. Here's our next storm system. This will start to affect us Saturday night into Sunday morning, with at least chances to get some showers and thunderstorms. Let's go hour by hour. If you're getting up early, 38, 39, 40, 41 degrees. We get a lot of mid and upper level clouds that stream in through the morning. They're going to be thin, so you'll be able to see the sun through it. And we should pop mid to upper 60s by the noon hour. Let's go to afternoon highs, about 4:30, 5 o'clock, typically this time of the year. Anywhere from 68 northern counties to about 74, 75 in our southern counties. But we do have that threat to get some showers and thunderstorms. This does not occur until mid to late evening, and we don't really even know where they're going to blow up. They're going to be scattered. That means not everybody will get showers and thunderstorms, but the areas they do blow up, those areas could get some decent amounts of rain for at least a brief period of time. Showers, thunderstorms kind of work through. Now, some of these guys could be a little bit stronger or low-grade severe, and what would make them strong or low-grade severe would be hail within these storms. Then we just have scattered thunderstorms through the night. Here's midnight, a few additional ones popping up after midnight. Our cold front, it sinks in Sunday morning, so along the front we may get a few scattered showers, and then we go back to sunshine, and Sunday afternoon looks pretty good, mid to upper 60s for afternoon highs. All right, rainfall amounts, we're going to have to wait and see where the rain pops up, or at least those scattered showers and thunderstorms. But I'm showing you this because where those storms do pop up will have the potential to drop a half an inch and a half of rain with some of those showers and thunderstorms. Breaking down the weekend, let's go 71 on Saturday, so mild. Strong to severe thunderstorms scattered Saturday evening, Saturday night. Some morning thunderstorms on Sunday, but a high temperature of 67 degrees, which actually looks pretty good. Let's go 70 on Monday. Hair cooler Tuesday and Wednesday, upper 60s. back into the 70s Thursday, Friday, and also next weekend. We'll have some chances for some showers and thunderstorms, increasing once again by next weekend.
Thanks, Doug. Coming up, it's not just the price of eggs that may have shoppers stressed.
The old commercial said, "Where's the beef?" Well, it's right here, ready to be ground. The problem is, it's going to cost you. I'm Jeff Flock with the Fox Business Network in Philadelphia, and I'll have the full story coming up.
Consumers may be seeing some relief with egg prices, but another grocery staple is on the rise. Fox Business's Jeff Flock goes behind the counter in Philadelphia to get the details.
The old saying goes, if it's not one thing, it's another. Now with the price of eggs coming down, well, look at the price of beef. That's actually a piece of flank steak right there, and beef is through the roof. Take a look at these numbers. In February of 2021, a pound of ground beef was $3.99. Now, February 2025, $5.63. That's an increase of 41%, and that's something that a butcher's got to pass along to its customers, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's only so much we could absorb.
Right. Where is it worse? Well, take a look at these numbers. In the Midwest, up 17% just year over year. In the South, about 10%. Northeast, West, a little bit less. What's driving this, Rob?
I mean, they always say weather, but even like the chicken market, it could affect the beef market, and vice versa. Yeah, so if you put bigger demands on chicken, because then now the demand ain't there for beef. Now there's no demand, the price goes up. It's like a constant cycle of pricing going up.
Speaking of demand and supply, take a look at the numbers on the cattle herd right now. We are at the lowest number of cows in the country since 1951, I am told. That obviously has an impact on price as well because of the supply.
Lack of supply increases the price.
And I leave you with this number as well, and that is, because the cattle herd in the U.S. is so low, we are now importing more from Mexico and Canada. 2 million head of cattle imported from Mexico and Canada last year, and we continue to do so. Of course, there's talk about a 25% tariff. That wouldn't be good news for price either. In Philadelphia, I'm Jeff Flock with the Fox Business Network.
A major airline company is slashing jobs at multiple airports. Starting in June, Southwest Airlines will begin realigning its workforce at 4 airports: BWI Marshall in Baltimore, and 3 airports in California: Burbank, Los Angeles, and San Jose. According to a company memo from Wednesday, the impacted employees will be able to apply for open positions at other locations. A severance package will also be an option. A Southwest spokesperson said the company regularly analyzes growth at airports to determine if overstaffing is a problem at certain locations. The universe may not be expanding in the way scientists first believed. There's some pretty complex data from the Dark Energy Spectroscopic Instrument Survey. Most scientists believe the universe is expanding at an accelerating rate due to dark energy. But the new data suggests that acceleration may have been slowing over the past 4 or 5 billion years. Scientists theorize everything could reverse and compress again into some sort of big crunch. However, that would be billions or trillions of years away. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. The Trump administration in court again in what is the latest showdown between the White House and the judicial branch. And the latest on a possible ceasefire agreement between Russia and Ukraine ahead of upcoming talks in Saudi Arabia.
You're watching the 4 states' most watched news.
The Trump administration in court again Friday as a judge weighs whether the president can use a centuries-old wartime law to expel illegal migrants in the U.S. the government has classified as terrorists. It's the latest showdown between the White House and the judicial branch. Fox News' Rebecca Castor has more from Washington.
This dramatic video of alleged gang members arriving at a detention facility in El Salvador is at the center of a legal debate in Washington. The question before the judge: did President Trump have the authority to expel these illegal migrants from the U.S. using a wartime law called the Alien Enemies Act?
They're tough people, they're bad people. We don't want them in our country. We can't let a judge say that he wants them. You know, he didn't run for president. He didn't get much more than 80 million votes.
On Saturday, a federal judge put a stop to all deportations under the wartime law and ordered the government to turn around planes already in the air. It's one of 15 injunctions already imposed on Trump's agenda this term, something this president is accustomed to. He had 64 his first time in office, compared to Obama's 12 and Biden's 14.
The judges in this country are acting erroneously.
It's the administration which is completely run off the rails.
Trump is now calling on the Supreme Court to bar lower judges from making sweeping decisions that impact the nation. And GOP lawmakers are preparing legislation.
This isn't about Congress taking away power courts currently have. This is about Congress reforming and stopping the abuse. They do not have the authority to go out and to say, Mr. President, you can't do this.
Many of the migrants on those controversial deportation flights were alleged TDA gang members from Venezuela. ICE is cracking down on their presence in the U.S., with 14 arrested in the D.C. area today. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
President Trump says he's optimistic Ukraine and Russia are close to a ceasefire agreement ahead of new talks set to begin Monday in Saudi Arabia. But peace negotiations face challenges as Russia continues airstrikes on Ukraine's energy facilities, despite previous promises to halt attacks. Ukraine denies Russia's claim of a retaliatory strike on a gas site in the Kursk region. Meanwhile, European leaders are pushing for an international peacekeeping force to monitor any potential deal, with Trump positioning the U.S. as a neutral mediator to end the fighting. President Trump signs an executive order to begin dismantling the Department of Education as teachers and school administrators sound the alarm. Fox News' Madeline Rivera has more from Washington.
President Trump coming a step closer to fulfilling a long-term goal with the new executive order aimed at shutting down the Department of Education. The response on Capitol Hill was predictably split along party lines, but outside the Beltway, the move is causing concern among some parents who say it puts their kids' education at risk.
Really, what it comes down to is I think kids are going to suffer, and we need to find a way to fund schools more.
It's also unclear which departments would take over the programs currently being administered by the DOE. So education officials across the country are starting to plan ahead for the possible loss of federal funding.
We are doing things like holding funds back, seeing about ways in which we can fill those gaps.
The White House says Education Secretary Linda McMahon will, quote, ensure the effective and uninterrupted delivery of services. But administrators worry there will be an adjustment period that could be tough on schools.
When you move that funding to another department, there's going to be disruptions. You're going to lose that continuity.
Still, some educators and administrators are applauding the move, claiming the department has spent $3 trillion since 1979, and test scores just keep getting worse.
It's a national catastrophe. We have to raise our standards. So when you send this money back to the states, you're not going to have a problem with it.
The president needs congressional approval to completely dissolve the department, including at least 7 Democrat senators to overcome a filibuster. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast. And later, it's match day for KCU students in Joplin, the date when med students find out where they're headed for their first year of residency. Find out if one married couple will be moving on together.
Well, of course, it turned out to be a nice Friday for us today. Warmer than what we have seen, at least over the past day and a half. Temperatures kind of chilly tonight. We drop back 38 to about 40 degrees, but a quick rebound for us tomorrow. Temperatures are actually going to be looking pretty good. Now, it's still kind of windy out there, but the winds are going to start to die down as we go through the night into tomorrow morning. So most of the day tomorrow, yeah, we'll call it breezy, but winds kind of gusting 15 to 20, which is no big deal. As we get into Saturday evening, the wind gusts pick up a bit, 20 upwards to 30. And this is going to be ahead of our next little wave that rotates through Saturday night. Then winds switch back out of the northwest on Sunday, and the winds calm down. So it's not going to be near as windy over the weekend, but it will be breezy out there. We've had some clouds, weak little wave pushing across the Great Lakes, which did give us the wind. Here's our next storm system. This will start to affect us Saturday night into Sunday morning with at least chances to get some showers and thunderstorms. Let's go hour by hour. If you're getting up early, 38, 39, 40, 41 degrees. We get a lot of mid and upper level clouds that stream in through the morning. They're going to be thin, so you'll be able to see the sun through it. And we should pop mid to upper 60s by the noon hour. Let's go to afternoon highs, about 4:30, 5 o'clock, typically this time of the year. Anywhere from 68 northern counties to about 74, 75 in our southern counties. But we do have that threat to get some showers and thunderstorms. This does not occur until mid to late evening, and we don't really even know where they're going to blow up. They're going to be scattered. That means not everybody will get showers and thunderstorms, but the areas they do blow up, those areas could get some decent amounts of rain for at least a brief period of time. Showers, thunderstorms kind of work through. Now, some of these guys could be a little bit stronger or low-grade severe, and what would make them strong or low-grade severe would be hail within these storms. Then we just have scattered thunderstorms through the night. Here's midnight, a few additional ones popping up after midnight. Our cold front, it sinks in Sunday morning, so along the front we may get a few scattered showers, and then we go back to sunshine, and Sunday afternoon looks pretty good, mid to upper 60s for afternoon highs. All right, rainfall amounts, we're going to have to wait and see where the rain pops up, or at least those scattered showers and thunderstorms. But I'm showing you this because where those storms do pop up will have the potential to drop a half an inch and a half of rain with some of those showers and thunderstorms. Breaking down the weekend, let's go 71 on Saturday, so mild, strong to severe thunderstorms scattered, Saturday evening, Saturday night, some morning thunderstorms on Sunday, but a high temperature of 67 degrees, which actually looks pretty good. Let's go 70 on Monday, hair cooler Tuesday and Wednesday, upper 60s. Back into the 70s Thursday, Friday, and also next weekend. We'll have some chances for some showers and thunderstorms increasing once again by next weekend.
Thanks, Doug. The Knights of Columbus invited the public out to a mouth-watering event tonight, their annual fish fry. For $15, attendees could enjoy catfish and shrimp, baked potatoes or rice, and more, plus a side of homemade dessert by the St. Bridget's congregation, made for the meal even sweeter. Their tradition started as a fundraiser to build St. Bridget's Meeting Hall in 1998.
We are excellent. We are the largest fish fry and the best fish fry in the area. We are the oldest anyway. We've been doing this for 27 years. Word of mouth gets around. Hospitality, we have people come in. We start serving at 6 o'clock and we have people come in at 6 o'clock. They'll eat and then they'll sit around and visit until 8 when we finally are finishing up.
This year marks the 27th year for the annual fish fry. Coming up in sports, Missouri Southern softball is at home for a doubleheader with Washburn. Plus, Pitt State baseball looks to extend its winning streak. Ben McLeish has those stories and more coming up in sports.
Missouri Southern softball is home for a doubleheader against Washburn, looking to extend its 9-game winning streak. Lions, Ichabods, game 1, top of the first. Washburn has runners on the corners, 2 outs, and Aaron Bowles laces a double to center field. 2 runners come home. Ichabods lead 2-0. Next batter grounds it to short, and Taylor Knuckles makes the throw just in time. Lions get out of the jam. Now in the 3rd inning, Southern struggling to get anything going, but that drops for Bailey Dillon, and she advances to 3rd on the throwing error. She'll score on a sac fly, but the Lions are looking for more. Carson Tinkler laces a double to the wall. 2 runners score. Southern leads 3-2. But Washburn responds in the 4th. Tough ball for the shortstop, and she can't make the play. The Ichabods tie it up. and Washburn scores 2 more to beat the Lions 5-3 and snap their win streak. In Game 2, the Lions get their revenge, winning 7-4. They score 7 runs in the first 2 innings, and it's smooth sailing from there, so Southern splits the doubleheader. The Lions welcome Emporia State for another doubleheader tomorrow. Staying on the diamond, both of our local MIAA baseball teams begin divisional series today. First, we'll stick with Missouri Southern for the Lions matchup against Central Oklahoma. They dropped the series opener 8-5 despite out-hitting the Broncos. The Lions give up 5 runs in the 7th inning and are unable to come back. Southern resumes the series tomorrow at 2. Gorillas face the Tigers in Pittsburgh. Pitt State has bases loaded in the 3rd, already up by 3. Doggin Brewer hits it to the outfield, and the Gorillas can't capitalize. We head to the 4th, and Colby Dugan strikes out the batter. He finishes the day with 5 Ks. Bottom of the inning now, Gorillas only lead by 2. Ricky Sanchez starts it off with a stand-up double, but Pitt State can't capitalize again. 5th inning, runner on first. Luis Ayala lobs it high into the air, and Josh Holmes makes the diving catch to end the jam. Bottom of the inning, runners on first and second. Alex Rogers finds the hole, and the Gorillas extend their lead back to 3. In the 6th, Tigers threatening, looking to steal, and Nixon Brannon throws out the runner. The Gorillas go into the 7th, winning 6-4, but can't hold on to the lead. The Tigers score 5 more and beat Pitt State 9-8 in extras. Well, so far, the craziest thing about March Madness is actually the lack of madness. There's been no major upsets so far. The upsets highlighting round 1 are 12-seed McNeese's 69-67 win over Clemson yesterday, and 12-seed Colorado State's 78-70 victory over Memphis today. But with 5 more rounds of the tournament to go, there's plenty of more time for madness.
Well, as a former Mizzou Tiger, I know my bracket has already been broken. Disappointed. But, there's still a lot of games. Hopefully a chance to redeem it.
Yeah, definitely a tough first-round matchup for Mizzou, but other local team, Arkansas, is still fighting.
Well, we can cheer them on. Thanks so much, Ben. We'll be back with more news after this. It's match day for medical students, the day when they'll learn where they'll be completing their residency training. KOAM's Melissa Alexis has more about the big day at KCU Joplin.
Honestly, a dream come true.
For Brianne Warner and her husband Zachary, becoming a doctor is a dream they've had since they were kids.
Been since childhood, but we didn't know what we wanted to do. We got married and then we took a couple of gap years.
And medical school at KCU Joplin has been a journey they've had the opportunity to go through right by each other's side.
So we got accepted together and married before med school. And so being able to do this process by each other's side and then also to go into the same specialty.
But even if Brianne and Zachary are accepted into the same specialty, there's no guarantee they would also match into the same residency program at the same hospital.
Our rank lists are paired, so we kind of put the same programs.
And on match day, they found out what lies ahead and where in the country they'll be headed, together or apart.
My husband and I matched emergency medicine, and so we couples matched, and we're going to the University of Nebraska Medical Center together, which was where we'll spend the next 3 years.
Excitement.
Relief.
Yeah, relief. We've been going through this journey for quite some time.
Brianne says the road to this point was anything but easy.
The first 2 years in lectures and didactics and kind of what you think of school, and then your 3rd year you kind of do all of your rotations, and then your 4th year you spend most of the time in the specialty that you want to go into.
And as they embark on their journey of becoming doctors together in Nebraska, Brianne and Zachary will begin another journey next month.
We're having a baby girl in April, so just a few weeks away. And so, yeah, it's definitely going to be a challenge, but we're very excited.
August, we went to University of Nebraska, and that's actually when we found out that we were pregnant. So, funny enough, that's actually where we're going to residency, so pretty cool.
A full circle moment.
Yeah.
A full circle moment the couple will remember for a lifetime.
Now to go on this residency journey together to become the best ER physicians we can.
Reporting in Joplin, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
How special. Zachary and Brianne will be headed to Nebraska to both start their residencies in July. Up next, a starry Shakespeare revival is breaking Broadway records. A starry Shakespeare revival is opening Sunday night on Broadway, and as Fox's Ashley Dvorkin reports, The Bard is still breaking records with the highest grossing play in Broadway history.
Written more than 400 years ago, Othello is back on the boards.
In Shakespeare's tale of deception, betrayal, and vengeance.
Stars Denzel Washington and Jake Gyllenhaal, giving the box office a major boost, with top ticket prices selling for nearly $1,000.
Denzel is playing the titular role of Othello, and Jake Gyllenhaal is diving into the more evil side with Iago.
The A-listers making their Broadway returns in one of the theater's great tragedies, about a military commander who falls victim to a psychological campaign aimed at turning him against his new wife, Desdemona.
Denzel actually has a Tony Award he won for Fences by August Wilson. He was last seen on Broadway in The Iceman Cometh, and Jake Gyllenhaal was last seen on Broadway in a very buzzy revival of Stephen Sondheim's Sunday in the Park with George.
Othello was last revived on Broadway with James Earl Jones as Othello and Christopher Plummer as the manipulative Iago back in 1982, when tickets ranged in price from $10 to $50. The new production with Washington and Gyllenhaal runs at the Ethel Barrymore Theater through June 8th.
And it'll be a really exciting treat for New York audience members to see them go head-to-head on the Barrymore stage.
Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We'll leave you with video of twin pandas in Hong Kong reuniting with their mother. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.